crowd goes wild, the divorce. This is the hard part, but this is again another area where you can be held liable. In the state of Ohio, when a tenant makes a security deposit to you, you have 30 days to account for their security deposit and return to them their balance. If you don't, the judge will award them two and a half times what their security deposit was. So if I have a $1,000 security deposit for your tenant and I don't return it within 30 days or send them an accounting of it, which means, you know, your child drew pictures on the walls, so we had to repaint the walls, and that was $500. Here's the balance. If we don't return their funds and an accounting, then we could owe them $2,500, and we take that from your money, of course, right? So you can see how your property manager is a barrier. Other things that happen in the divorce is if it's not done properly. For example, if you haven't served the notices to the occupants, then the judge is going to set that rendering aside and make you refile. So your asset is going to be limited because you're going to be losing rent, right? Retaliatory evictions, that's where you, I've wanted to retaliate against a few tenants and chose not to because of that. Retaliation is, you know, when the tenant calls you 17 times a day because there's a drip on the faucet, but you know the snow just melted and we have basements flooding and they won't quit calling. So tomorrow you've decided you hate that tenant and you want to evict them, you're retaliating against them. Or there's the tenant that, because you didn't fix the dripping faucet, that's not a disaster, that's not a class 1 emergency, within 24 hours they call the health department to have your home inspected to make sure that nothing is wrong. That's the one I really want to evict. But you can't, because they're going to go back and ask the question why, and then again 2.5 times what their security deposit is or more, because then you're retaliating against that person. You can have the same retaliation based on any of your discriminations in protected classes. And then finally, that habitability. If you've removed the doors, that property's not habitable. If you've let off all the bugs underneath their doors because you hate that tenant, that's not habitable. So you have to make sure that your property, yeah, I never have done that. I've thought about it before. But I don't like bugs, so I can't do that. You have to make sure, even through the eviction process, that the property is habitable, and your property manager is doing that. Because if not, again, you know, we're going to be liable first, but they're always going to go for the movie star that lives in California that's rich. And then finally, even as simple as accepting late payments. If you have a policy that says you don't accept late payments and you intermittently do it, then you can be held liable, and that tenant can assume that you're going to accept their payment late because you've done it in the past, and then you're going to be another 30 days into your eviction. In Ohio, an eviction is about 30 days.